Welcome back to another episode of Rennch. Today we're going to do some stripping.
She's my cherry pie, proving the world such a sweet surprise.
Hi there. So this is not the episode I was planning on doing today, but before I get into that, let me say hello to everybody that's new to the channel. My name's Michael, I'll be your tour guide. Now I've already restored a 1969 911 RSR, which the internet has dubbed the Gray Ghost. It's got a 3.6 motor from a 1995 993. It's 2,160 pounds. It's super light, it's super fun, it's super fast, it's super period correct. Now, if you're brand new to the channel, please hit subscribe and hit like. This is the 16th video of this particular build series, which is this 1969 911S that I'm calling the Blasphemy build. Now, my plan for today's episode was going to be to finalize the front latch panel placement that I showed you guys last video and get everything basically lined up, start making some patch panels for it. Unfortunately, I grabbed a fiberglass hood from my friends over at TRE Motorsports, but it's actually a little bit too wide. It's wider than the factory hood is, so I can't really use it for placement. Since I've last seen you though, I have built a thing. I knew because I was doing so much sheet metal work that I was gonna have to make something to bend sheet metal accurately. So I went back into the well of this bed frame that I bought at Goodwill for $5. It's the same bed frame that I made my welding cart from. It's the same bed frame that I made a pull-up bar from. And with this, I made a sheet metal brake. And if you guys don't know what a sheet metal brake is, basically it's a tool to accurately bend sheet metal to where you need it. I knew because I was going to be making so many fabrication pieces in the front end that I was going to need some sort of sheet metal brake. So instead of buying one from Harbor Freight or off of Amazon, I thought, let me take a crack at building one first. And I love how it turned out. So this week I was on Instagram and I was on Rod Emery's page. And I was really jealous of how beautiful all of the cars he works on are in bare metal. Because I'm going to be shaving the drip rails of this car, I need to see what's underneath and how much lead is used to fill in between the metal on the roof. Also, I have no idea if there's any other rust spots or any other repair spots, big chunks of Bondo, any of that stuff on this car. So I decided to strip this car to bare metal. Now I'm lucky enough, I'm in California, it's the summertime, it doesn't rain all that much, so the relative humidity is pretty low. So I think I can afford to strip the paint, plus it won't look like a police car anymore when I'm done. The real question is, how do you strip paint on a car in 2020? They've taken out the methylene chloride, which while super dangerous and definitely causes cancer, was the thing that actually worked to strip paint. So rather than give up or just spend my entire day sanding, I went to eBay and picked up an old bootleg bottle of methylene chloride enabled aircraft paint remover. This is like dented and I don't know, rusty, but I'm hoping that it's going to work well. So today I'm going to use my heavy duty Rennch coveralls. I'm going to use this gas mask because this stuff is really, really gnarly. And I'm going to move the car over onto a plastic mat and just really start the process of stripping all this paint. I'm hoping that this gallon of paint remover will be enough to make this car bare metal and show me what I'm working with. Now, if you should decide to do this stuff is super gnarly. It burns your skin. You got to wear gloves. You got to wear a mask. You've got to wear anything you can. You've got to wear eye protection because if it splashes up and it gets in your eyes, it's all bad news. It's just all really, really bad news. So you got to kind of, clean room yourself up a little bit. But the hope is you paint the stuff on. Often I will put plastic over the top, so you paint it in one direction. They tell you to do that because the paint instantly starts bubbling. And then you put plastic on top and let it go for like 15 minutes, and then you can just use a scraper to scrape it off. I picked up a little metal bucket here, a bunch of throwaway paintbrushes from Harbor Freight. Plan is to move on to the plastic, get on a step stool, and start scraping paint. Let's get into it. So you can see after just a couple of minutes that this paint just peels right off, which is how these things are supposed to work. They don't really work like that anymore. The other thing I've just done while I've been waiting is I've scuffed up with a pretty high grit sandpaper the doors and the quarters on the other side. That actually allows the paint remover to get underneath the paint to bubble it up. So this is specifically why I decided to do this paint strip. This door has a tremendous amount of Bondo on it. So I'm going to give this thing one more round of stripper, kind of wipe down everything, and then I'm going to hit a wire brush, which is making really short work and very smooth metal out of what's left. This is so messy. And it's so labor intensive. And you can see how gnarly this stuff is. I just had like an empty Gatorade can, but look how deformed the Gatorade can is getting because of this chemical. This is what the car looks like right now. It's coming along really well, but I want to show you guys specifically why I decided to do this. Because when you take paint off, you start revealing very odd things, like holes in your roof. 3 holes, 4 holes, and the creme de la creme is I've got a whole bunch. But weirdly, looking underneath, it doesn't show that there is dent damage. So I have no idea what that stuff is doing. As you can see, I've done most of this right side. The back was already done. And then this quarter door. And what I've got to do here is, this is just the first initial layer. You can see that just in a couple of days it's flash rusted. It's because I haven't removed all the paint remover, but I still have to go over it one more time. You can see here on the door there's some dents. There's some dents around here in the middle. Some of these things I'll be able to fix, some I won't. So one thing that's been really helpful in the process of removing this paint are these. I picked up a 5-pack of these DuraStrip Clean and Strip, or DuraPeak Clean and Strip discs. These things make really short work out of whatever's remaining of the paint. So once you've scraped the paint with a scraper, it leaves, a bunch of stuff still on there. That's when these things are really, really good. This thing makes really, really short work of them. So I'm going to hit the front fender right now with this disc, and then I'm going to turn the entire car around to get the passenger side door and the right front fender. Well, that was a tremendous amount of work to get all of that paint off of that car. I'm so happy I did it though. It's so cool to be able to reveal some of the history that this car has had over the last 50 years. And honestly, because I'm doing the drip rail delete, I wanted to see how close to the drip rail the lead filler was so it didn't contaminate when I was trying to weld. Obviously, this was a ton of work. This was actually the longest video shoot I've ever done in the history of this channel. It took over 5 days to get to this point of a bare naked car. Now, there may be one more step. I might hit the entire thing with a DA sander, maybe 80 grit, maybe 120 grit, and then put some sort of rust preventer on it so it just stays bare metal and doesn't flash rust. But neither here nor there. The next couple videos are going to be about making patch panels and boxing in the entire front end so I can get the front end welded on, the hood on, and get to the fun stuff of modifying this chassis. As always, it's a privilege to have you here. Thank you so much for watching this project. If you could subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet, and hit a like, it really does make a huge difference. Those likes and comments really matter for the YouTube algorithm, apparently. So anyway, you guys keep on rocking. I'll talk to you next time.